Imagine that right now, at this very moment, something greater than just a chain of random events is unfolding around you. That behind everyday reality, there is a quiet, almost imperceptible dialogue between you and the universe. It does not use words, does not explain itself directly, does not give clear instructions. Instead, it speaks through signs, through coincidences that seem strange, through symbols that suddenly catch your attention, through repeating patterns as if they appear not by chance, but with intention. You may see them in the numbers on a clock, in a random phrase from a passerby, in a line of a book opened exactly on the right page, or in a feeling that suddenly overtakes you for no obvious reason. It is not a loud voice. It is a whisper, subtle, barely perceptible, but always precise. The universe does not intervene harshly. It guides gently, leaves hints, suggests, leads. And each such sign is like a thread that can lead you to an answer if you allow yourself to pause and feel. But the main question remains the same. Can you hear it? Or does the noise of your thoughts drown out this quiet conversation? Signs of fate are not coincidence. They are not chaos or imagination, but a subtle system of hints through which energy gently guides you along your path. This language cannot be heard with the ears. It can only be felt. Sometimes it appears in repeating numbers that seem to follow you, showing up again and again, as if someone is persistently trying to get your attention. Sometimes in a random phrase overheard in passing, yet for some reason it stays within you, as if it was meant specifically for you. And sometimes in a person who appears in your life unexpectedly at exactly the right moment, like an answer to an unspoken question. These can be small things, barely noticeable details, but within them lies depth. The universe does not act abruptly. It does not break, force, or shout. It chooses a different path. Quiet, delicate, almost invisible. It whispers. And in that whisper, there is more meaning than in any loud word. To learn how to read signs, it is important to understand one simple thing. They cannot be found in a rush. They cannot be tracked by logic, cannot be caught through effort or control. Signs reveal themselves not to those who search, but to those who feel. It is a state of inner silence in which you stop chasing answers and allow them to come to you. And here the first rule appears: to stop, not for a second, but truly. Slow down your breathing. Let go of the stream of thoughts. Step out of constant rush, where everything happens too fast for anything to be noticed. When you slow down, the space around you seems to change. What once felt like background suddenly begins to emerge. You notice details, signals, subtle coincidences. Your gaze catches symbols. Feelings arise within you that were previously lost in the noise. And in that moment you realize The signs were always there. You were simply walking past them. Signs come through resonance. They are not random bursts of attention or imagination, but a subtle alignment of the external and internal worlds. When something outside suddenly resonates within you, it is no longer just coincidence. It is as if an invisible thread connects what is happening around you with what is happening deep inside you. Sometimes it is a barely noticeable feeling, a slight impulse, an inner response that is hard to put into words. If a symbol evokes emotion, if it draws your attention, makes you pause even for a moment, if you feel there is something more to it, that is a signal. Not loud, not obvious, but precise. It does not require proof because it is already felt as truth. In such moments, there is no need to doubt or try to understand everything through logic. Your intuition already knows the answer. It does not argue, analyze, or prove. It simply knows, and all you need is to allow yourself to hear it. The second rule is trust. Without it, it is impossible to truly hear the language of signs, because this language does not obey logic. Do not try to analyze every sign, break it into parts, or look for rational explanations, where it is more important to feel than to understand. Fate does not speak in formulas. It does not give clear schemes or instructions. Its language is images, sensations, associations that are born within you. That is why it is so important to shift from habitual analysis to inner perception. When you encounter a sign, do not rush to explain it. Instead, pause and ask yourself simple questions. What did I just feel? What emotion was awakened within me? What does this mean for me personally? Not for someone else, not according to someone else's interpretation, but specifically for you. And in that moment, a quiet understanding may appear, not as a thought, but as a feeling. It comes gently, almost unnoticed, but it feels like something true. Because the real answer is not born in the mind, but in the depth of your feelings. Symbols are keys, not simple images, not random signs, but tools capable of opening access to a deeper understanding of your path. Each symbol is like a door behind which meaning, an answer, or a direction you are seeking is hidden. But it is important to remember, these keys do not have a universal lock. The same sign can sound differently for different people, because everyone perceives it through their own experience, feelings, and inner state. Even for you yourself, the meaning of a symbol can change over time. What today seems like a warning may tomorrow become confirmation. What once was unclear suddenly reveals itself when you are ready to see it. Symbols are alive. They are not fixed. They reflect you in the present moment. That is why there is no single correct interpretation. The most accurate translator of signs is you yourself, your sensitivity, your intuition, your inner response. No one can read them more accurately than you if you allow yourself to trust this knowledge. The third rule is repetition. One sign can be missed. Two can be taken as coincidence. But when the same thing begins to appear again and again in different forms at different times, in different situations. It is no longer chance. It is a pattern in which meaning exists. If a symbol seems to follow you, returning while changing its form but preserving a sense of recognition, stop. Pay attention. It may be a number that you see everywhere, an image that keeps repeating, or a situation that seems to replicate itself. Each repetition is like a soft signal that becomes more and more noticeable. At first, a quiet hint, then a clearer sign, and if ignored, it can become almost obvious. This is not coincidence. It is persistence of the universe. It does not rush, but it does not retreat either. It is as if it gently knocks on your awareness again and again until you open, until you hear, until you allow yourself to see what has long been trying to be noticed. Sometimes signs come as a warning, soft, unobtrusive, but precise. They seem to slow you down, make you reflect, draw your attention to something you might be overlooking. And sometimes, the opposite. They come as confirmation, like a quiet yes, a feeling that you are moving in the right direction, even if doubts are still present. In such moments, a sense of calm appears inside, as if something falls into place. You may be thinking about a decision, weighing it, doubting, searching for an answer, and suddenly, a symbol appears. At first glance, random, but there is something precise in it, something that feels directed specifically at you. It can be an image, a word, a sign that unexpectedly aligns with your thoughts or your question. And in that moment, a feeling arises. The answer is already near. This is not just a coincidence of events. This is a response. This is dialogue. A quiet, invisible, but deep conversation between you and something greater that is always close and always ready to answer if you ask the question. Start noticing. What once seemed ordinary may turn out to be far deeper than you thought. Pay attention to repeating numbers. They can appear at the most unexpected moments, as if reminding you of something important. Notice random encounters. Sometimes people come into your life not by chance, but as part of the answer you are seeking. Listen to dreams. They often contain images and hints that are difficult to see in everyday noise. Catchphrases overheard in passing. Sometimes a single word can resonate more strongly than long reflection. Look at the images around you. They may draw your attention for a reason. And most importantly, feel. Your emotions are a compass. They point to where meaning is hidden. This is not just a set of events, not chaotic moments scattered through your day. It is a system, a connection, a direction. It is a map that gradually reveals itself to you if you are willing to read it. You are not alone in this world. Even if it sometimes feels like you are walking your path alone, that feeling is deceptive. You are constantly within a flow of signs, subtle, barely noticeable, yet continuous. They surround you in everyday life, in details you once ignored, in coincidences that only seem random at first glance. This flow does not stop. It is simply waiting for you to begin noticing it. And here is an important point. The more you begin to trust this process, the clearer the signs become. At first, they may be blurred, almost imperceptible, like a whisper beneath the noise of thoughts. But over time, when you stop arguing with yourself and start listening, everything begins to clear. Symbols become more precise, coincidences deeper, sensations stronger. Because the universe does not change its language. You change, and so does your perception. It is already speaking to you. Right now, in every moment, in every detail, in every inner response. The only question is, are you ready to hear it? If you feel that this resonates within you, not as a thought, not as analysis, but as a quiet inner recognition, then you are already on the path. Not in the future, not someday later, but right now. The path does not begin with a sharp turn or a loud decision. It begins with a moment of awareness, when you first notice that the world around you may be speaking to you in another language. And this language has already begun to appear in your life, through sensations, through symbols, through subtle coincidences that cannot be fully explained by logic, but are easily felt within. You do not need to understand everything immediately. You do not need to decode every sign or find final answers. All that is needed is one thing. Start noticing. Notice how often certain moments repeat. Notice how your intuition responds. Notice what truly resonates inside you and what passes you by. Because it is in this attention that the path begins to unfold, not as a finished map, but as a living process unfolding step by step. And the more attentive you become, the clearer the direction becomes. Just start noticing.